Mr. Ambassador, the UK has resolutely supported Ukraine throughout the war. Looking forward, what role do you see the UK playing in helping to end this conflict?
I guess that UK was playing the key role, especially from the very first days where the help was extremely needed. Many nations came later, and some nations are coming with much more support than we can expect from them, and some of them are climbing up, like Germany, for example, is now second in providing the military support. But a year ago, when we needed critically, UK was probably the only one in the field who was staying with us. Then our friends like Baltic states, the Poland, those ones who received the first Ukrainian refugees, and still having millions of Ukrainians helping them and helping Ukraine. But in a way, these people know what Russia's threat is, and that's why they are so preoccupied with their own survival. For UK, for the nation which is so far in Europe, to understand, deeply understand and care for Ukraine was very important and a very particular point. And they are still with us, still doing that. The recent announcements of the additional support, additional military support, financial support, political support, is that what we need. And I just hope that we will be able to expect this help to come for time is needed.
The relationship between the UK and Ukraine has been strengthened last year. What are the priorities for future cooperation, particularly regarding the reconstruction of Ukraine?
We have huge support here from military, as we discussed, and that's important for survival, but it's not enough for us to become back flourishing nation with our plans how to develop ourselves. So on the 21st of June this year, we will have a big conference in London of how Ukraine is reconstructed. There are many ideas flying around, and one of those which already done, for example, is the digital agreement between Ukraine and UK. The only digital trade agreement was done between UK and Singapore. So this is very unique way nations are cooperating, and it's not about selling and buying the digital products. It's actually how we digitalize the trade, allowing more trade to come through the borders without all these hassles, bureaucratic, how we bring together regulations, allowing more businesses to cooperate easier. Another example is the UK totally exterminated all the quotas and all the tariffs for Ukraine, really bringing up the free trade agreement. We had in agreements, we had a couple of, as always, percentages, how nations are trying to, even within the free trade agreement, how to hold their own ground. We don't have it with UK. UK decided that for the time being, well, we needed each and every pound earned, we will open up our borders. Ukraine did the same. So the UK's supplies or merchandise are coming to Ukraine free of tariffs and quotas and pays.
It has been said that diplomacy with Russia has no place in the current situation. Do you agree with this? And if not, what diplomatic efforts do you think could help bring about the end of the conflict?
We understand that when these words are said, it's because really, when you fight with somebody and your people being killed by Russians, it's very difficult to foresee how you can actually sit around the table and negotiate. But this effort was done a year ago. We were trying to get, as soon as they came with all the forces, we tried to stop them diplomatically. It failed. We have to recognize that. But we were also negotiating all the 7 years of the war, which was since 2014. So we tried our best. You might recall both Minsk agreements, the Normandy format, all the contacts groups, biggest OSCE mission. So the diplomacy was playing a significant role in the exchange of prisoners, in the sort of relieving the tensions and relieving the tragedies and suffering of civilians. Very unfortunately, Russia decided to go against this and came with all the forces, all the tanks, everything they had. So there is not much of the room for diplomacy now, but doesn't mean the diplomacy won't be able to pick up as soon as the opening here.
You have been Ukrainian ambassador in the UK for a number of years now. What is your favorite thing about the UK and why?
Obviously, it's not food. If you ask about that, it's very difficult for some nations like, Italians, French, Ukrainians, to survive here. What I like, I do like climate. I do actually, seriously, it's not that extreme as in many nations, so I quite personally quite like it. I like the history, I like the nature here, I like how close it is to sea. I'm from Odessa myself, so I appreciate when the big water is next to me. So on a personal level, it's great. On the level of professionalism, at first, very, very high development of the society, political system. Is very fascinating to watch how they change their prime ministers each and every 40 days and all of this stuff. But actually, the people, I know somebody's talking about snobbish. I don't believe that UK having monopoly on snobism. There are so many nations which are even worse than that. So I find myself quite comfortably working here and then living here as well. So, but on working here, I have to tell that, working in a nation which is supporting you on such a level is always a treat. It's not very challenging to the diplomats. So we have other nations where we had to add effort. Here people understand. You can see Ukrainian flags everywhere. People would understand, sympathize, and will keep this, Ukrainian refugees in their houses. This is all great. We just have to keep this up.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Mr. Ambassador.
Thank you.